Okay, now we can get on with our first interval. We're going to be learning how to identify this interval by ear when we hear it, and number two, we'll have to learn how to spell the interval. An interval is a distance, and the distance we will look at is a perfect fifth. An interval is just a distance, and the distance we're looking at specifically in this video is a perfect fifth. Now from C to G on the piano keyboard is a perfect fifth, or any other instrument. If you go from C to G, you've traveled the distance of the perfect fifth. Why do we call this a perfect fifth? Let's say C is 1. Okay, look at the keyboard. Now we're looking at just the white keys. Let's say C is 1. If you go up, D would be 2, E would be 3, F would be 4, and G would be 5. So there's 5 notes here we're using, so we call it a perfect fifth, 1 to 5, only using the white note. C is number 1 and G is number 5. That's why we call it a perfect fifth. Now let's do the same from D. If we start on D and we count up just the white notes, D is 1, E is 2, F is 3, G is 4, and A is 5. So that's 5 notes. It's a perfect fifth. From D to A is also a perfect fifth. Okay, now let's do the same thing for E. So if we start on E, we count up 5 notes, we end up on B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B. That's a perfect fifth. We counted 5 notes. Okay, let's keep going. Do it on F. Pick F. Count up just the white notes. F is 1, G is 2, A is 3, B is 4, and C is 5. So from F to C is a perfect fifth. You can also do another thing here, is you can refer to these numbers that I'm counting up as degrees. Well, those more advanced musicians understand how scales work, so they know the degrees. So a perfect fifth is going from the first degree to the 5th degree in the scale. Now let's see what we have so far. We have a perfect fifth on C, perfect fifth on D, perfect fifth on E, a perfect fifth on F. Now, for completeness sake, let's keep going and do the same thing for G. So to do a perfect fifth on G, we'll start with G as our 1. And if we count up 5 white notes, D would be our 5th, 5. And if we do it from A would be 1, E would be the 5th. Now, things are not going to be that easy. There's always something there to throw you off a little. So let's try it from B. Now, if you've tried it already, you'll notice that it sounds a little funny. So if we start on B, B is 1, C is 2, D is 3, E is 4, and F is 5. So if you play this interval, B to F, and you play it, do you notice how it doesn't sound like the other fifths we just played? You really need to listen to it. If you've never done any ear training, if your ear is really not cultured, I want you to really listen to it. Think of a song that you know and that starts with a perfect fifth. I think of Man of Steel theme. That's what I always think of. It goes from a perfect fifth, so the first sound there is a perfect fifth. Or just think of Twinkle Little Star. You have C, C, G, G, A, A, G, okay? Or just C, C, G, G, the first 4 notes, right? C, C, G, G, that's 1, 1, 5, 5, perfect fifth. If you do the same on D, you have 1, 1, 5, 5. That's the start of Twinkle Little Star. It sounds fine, but try and sing it from B. So if you sing Twinkle Little Star from B, you have B, B, F, F. It doesn't sound right. But wait a minute. If we go by the same principle of applied so far, it should sound right because it's a perfect fifth, right? Except not quite. How many half steps? Now let's go back to our C and G. How many half steps are between C and G? If you count them, you'll find that there are 7 half steps in total. C to C sharp is 1. D sharp to D is 2. D sharp to E is 3. E sharp to E is 4. E to F is 5. F to F sharp is 6. F sharp to G is 7. So we find that we've traveled a total of 7 half steps. And this is true for the rest of the perfect fifths we just counted using the white notes, except for B. B is an odd one, because if you count it, B to C is a half step, that's 1. C to C sharp is 2, C sharp to D is 3, D to E is 4, so that E flat or D sharp, and then D sharp to E is 5, then E to F is 6. So there's traveled a total of 6 half steps if you go from B to F. So in order to make it a perfect fifth, it is lacking a single half step. That means we need to sharpen that F and add one more half step in order for it to be a perfect fifth. So for the perfect fifth for B would be B to F sharp. And now that sounds right. So if you play the Twinkle Little Star, just the first 4 notes, B, B, F sharp, it sounds right. We fixed it. So that's gonna be the only exception to the rule, is that once we play the B perfect fifth, we have to go to F sharp. So now let's go back to our C and G once again, and I want to tell you how you should practice this. You should always sing the interval, sing up and then sing it down. Now, you don't have to be a vocalist for this. You don't need to be worried about being heard, or because singing is not our goal here, but it helps you to internalize the sound into your own awareness. So I want you to sing it, because if you can sing it, then it shows that you've really learned it. You can really test yourself that you really know the interval. But I want you to sing it with the correct spelling. So when you sing it with the correct spelling. The way to sing it upward would be to sing C, G, C, G, G, C, G, C. And once you've sung it using the spelling, which means singing the letters, then you sing it with the sound using just la. So la, 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 la. Now this will unbelievably open up your ear, because you're connecting the spelling with the sound. So singing the intervals will ingrain the interval into your own awareness so that you can instantly know what they are. So now let's try it again with C sharp. And when doing these, I want you to go chromatically. This is one way to practice. You practice chromatically, that means going in order, all the notes, and then practice randomly. Okay, but first get them chromatically down, and then we're going to practice them randomly. So now we'll try C sharp. What's a perfect fifth above C sharp? You find C sharp. There's an easy way of doing this. First of all, you already know that C is connected with G. C will always be connected with G. So if you have a C sharp, then the perfect fifth will be a G something, okay? A G, in this case it's going to be G sharp. It's just going to mimic what the bottom note is. So if we have a C flat, then what do you think the top note is going to be? It's going to be a G flat. So once you know the perfect fifth interval for the white notes, working them out for the black notes is straightforward. I'll give you another example. What is a perfect fifth above E flat? Now all you should be thinking in your mind is E. I've got an E, and I know the perfect fifth interval for an E is a B, but you asked me what an E flat perfect interval was, so it's going to be a B flat. So for some type of an E, you get some type of a B. For some type of an F, you get some type of a C. So once you learn the white note perfect intervals, you won't have problems with this. So let's keep going. So like C sharp is going to be paired with G sharp. D will be paired with A, excuse me. D sharp will be paired with, now think about this, D is paired with an A, so D sharp is paired with A sharp, not a B flat. Now here's the note on spelling, because you could have said D sharp and B flat. That would have been correct. However, we want to keep these things in our mind in a neat and orderly way so that we can retrieve them much easier. So if you have some kind of a D, you need some kind of an A. So don't spell the A as B flat, because that's D and B. That's some kind of a B. You want to spell it in A sharp. Okay? So then E is paired with a B. Now if I said E sharp, some of you know that E sharp, it gives us an F. Don't say F and C. Because I started with E sharp, that means I need some kind of a B, and that's going to be B sharp. It looks an awful lot like F and C, and it is, but if we're going to spell things correctly, it's going to be E sharp and B sharp. Just like in English, if you want to be grammatically correct and spell things correctly, then sometimes you just have to make the necessary steps, no matter how trivial or unnecessary they may seem. But doing this is not trivial, nor is it unnecessary, because this will be one of your keys to excelling in relative pitch training far beyond your peers. Okay, far beyond what you'd get in some other ear training courses. So keep going. F sharp would be paired with some kind of a C, right? Because it's on F, it's going to be C sharp. Let's say G flat, that'll be paired with some kind of a D, right? So it'd be D flat. But notice that's the same interval. F sharp and C sharp is the same as G flat and D flat, but make sure you spell them correctly. I cannot stress how important this is. So let's keep going. What would be a perfect fifth above C flat? If you said G flat, then you would be 100% correct. It's tempting to try and say F sharp because C flat is a B, right? But since we start with some kind of a C, we need to end with some kind of a G. So when practicing going chromatically on the keyboard, I want you to sing the spelling first. C, G, then the sound. La, 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 la. And then do it going down. G, C, then the sound. La, 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 la. Go chromatically up. Now, for those who don't play any instrument, I've made this extremely easy for you. I've got a practice. I've got a chromatic perfect fifth practice audio that you can download from the practice playlist, and you could listen to the audio and just go through it. It's going to go chromatically up, going to go chromatically down, and you just sing it the same way I told you to practice. And then there is also another playlist for those who don't play that has them in random order but tells you what note it starts with. Okay,